everyone.
Yeah,
right.
that's a wrap.
That's a wrap. Okay, so let's just kind of recap for people on what is the D, the I, the S, and the C. Let's talk a little bit about that. So DiSC profiling is really a matter of personality profiling, right?
It's a personality assessment that helps you, tells you who you are, and then it tells you how to change your personality based on your strengths and weaknesses, and also how to read other people's personalities so you can speak in a way that makes most sense to them.
Right. Okay. So again, there's the D, there's the I, there's the S, and then there's the C. Instagram, you guys already got this, but you're going to get it again. So let's talk about the D. D's in the DiSC are, well, it's the first letter, but they are the very dominant people, right?
Very dominant, very effective. The bottom line, results-oriented people, very good at pushing things through, but they can be a little abrasive, very curt with people, and so they can tend to be a little aggressive and not really care about people's emotions or feelings that much, and they tend to cut people off. And if you ever see two Ds talking, they're constantly trying to interrupt each other.
Right. Okay. So now, when you are talking to a D, what kind of language do you have to have with the D?
So you need to be direct, straight to the point. No small talk. They don't care about talking about, again, their kids or weekend.
They're not here to be friends.
They're not here to be friends. They're there to get a job done.
Okay.
At the end of the day.
And they normally will talk in bullet points, very bullet pointed, very kind of matter of fact, and they want to win, right? A D wants to win.
Yes.
They want to make sure that they are there to win. And if there's a conflict or an issue, the D is probably going to win the conversation.
Yes.
What are some ways to deal with a D when you're having communications? And understand, everybody, that when you're dealing with DiSCs, everyone in the world on Earth is some variation of a D, an I, an S, or a C. And you're not going to be just one. You're probably going to be a variation, but you will have a dominant factor.
Yes. Normally you're at least two, and sometimes as many as three.
Really?
Yes.
I know you're normally two. I didn't know you could be three.
Yeah, you can be three. So they have if you're at least 50% or greater of any of the four different personality types, then that's considered one of yours. So yeah, you can be. Matter of fact, I think I'm an ISC.
I think you're just throwing things on there now.
No, Steve failed his personality.
Yes,
assessment,
I did fail mine. That's right.
I didn't even know you could fail these things.
It's not easy, but
he was the first.
Yes, you can fail. And also, for those of you that are watching, apologize that the mic didn't work. I'll blame him. But I'd like to know what you do in real estate, because that will help us understand what kind of DiSC you associate with and what DiSC you work with. And you can take a very, very easy, quick test on DiSC profile. And what I always find is it's going to tell you two things. It's going to tell you what you are initially, like what you're born with, and then what you become. And what I've learned, and tell me if this is right or wrong, is that when you are stressed and under pressure, you will revert back to your original DiSC, which is why, and maybe it's not the same terminology, but it's like when you're talking to someone and all of a sudden they just explode. And all of a sudden they're like, I don't know what came over me.
Yes.
That's them reverting back to what their original DiSC is. Now, their education and their environment will basically help them become who they are.
Sure.
But they still have that same DNA of who they were born with. It's like, like two kids. You have two kids, and one is, playing with flowers and having fun. The other one's pushing other kids into the dirt all the time. And the parents are like, I was that kid. Yes. I ate the flowers and then pushed the other kid in. But, they would say like, these are like two different kids. Like, I don't even know what's going on. These are not even the same kids. Those are different DiSC profiles.
Yes.
Now, education, environment.
Raised in the same house.
But they just act differently.
Yes.
And that is the DiSC that you have to think about, because to me, when you hire someone, right, and we always hire on DiSC, you do, Bigger Pockets does, we talk to them about it. When you're doing DiSC profiling and you are hiring someone, for us, when we have the management company, I want to know when things are stressful, what is that person going to become? How are they going to handle the stress? Because if they're not in a role that needs to be a dominant person, like let's say they're an accounting person, and that dominant role is a C, and all of a sudden they're in a stressful situation and all of a sudden they just start screaming at people because they get a D and they're very matter of fact, that may not be someone that you want to hire, right?
Sure.
Is that a determination of you not moving forward with a hiree based on what they could become?
Not necessarily. I mean, we use it as a guide. I mean, it really depends on the position. I mean, if I am hiring an accountant, they need to have a lot of C in them because accountants have to be precise.
Absolutely.
And so if their C on the personality assessment is really, really low, then yeah, I probably would not hire that person as an accountant.
As an
I
accountant.
didn't say I wouldn't hire him, but I wouldn't hire him as an accountant because accountants have to be very, very precise.
Detailed, yeah.
Detail oriented. And they gravitate naturally to those positions. So I've never met an accountant who was low in C, you know?
Yeah.
I would imagine they would make it out of school because it's a lot of
details.
And so it's, you know, they're naturally inclined to working with numbers, working with spreadsheets, detail oriented, working by themselves, and they're okay with that. And they're good at it, you know?
Yeah. So, okay, so you have the D, matter of fact, to the point. And again, I'm a big believer that whenever we hire, we'd do the role, we'd tell them what we wanted, but we'd also have them fill out a DiSC profile. And that was the determination of whether or not we would actually call them back.
Yes. Yeah. We have them do it when they're in the office.
Oh, you do?
Yeah. We bring them in for an interview, we interview them, and then we have them take the DiSC profile while they're there, and then we go over it with them.
So you tell them you're not going to make it, like this is not for you.
Or sometimes we'll send it to them ahead of time and have them bring it with them.
Yeah. See, well, that would be our determination, and you know, sometimes depending on the role as to whether or not we actually would bring them in for an interview.
Yes.
Because if it's an accountant person, or let's say, or you know, and then there's some roles that are very specific. Like you said, salesperson could be anything.
Yes.
But if you're looking for a specific role and they are a solid D or an S where they're very sentimental, emotional, that's not the role you want. Property management company you're dealing with contractors and vendors. You don't want someone that's an S that gets their feelings hurt and
can be pushed around.
And can be pushed around and bullied. Yeah.
Yes.
So again, when you're talking about DiSC, you have the D. Next, you have the I. So explain what the I is.
So the I's are the very sociable, very talkative, very energetic. They're very, they use their hands a lot when they speak. They're very expressive.
Okay.
All about positivity, having fun. You know, they're the people.
Social butterfly.
It's the person you want to be with at the party.
Right.
You know, they're the life of the party. And they're the social butterflies, really good at networking, talking to people. But their downside is, again, if they're all I and they don't have any of the other profiles on them, is they can be a little disorganized, tend to dominate the conversation by talking too much.
That's me.
They love to talk, yeah.
I'd like to talk more, but I don't want to hurt your feelings.
Well, we got two I's here.
Yeah, I know.
We have to buy our time. So, but the I's make really good salespeople. They're very friendly. You know, they're a lot of fun to be around, but you know, someone who's a D may not like that.
And you know, I was thinking when you were saying that in real estate, an I also could be someone who's flipping properties or doing, you know, rehabs because they have the I, right? The I of creativeness, of looking at a house and going, hey, the kitchen could be here. They may not be the best to draw the plans up, but they could be the ones that say, hey, you know what? This house could use this, could use that, that a D or C would maybe not see that, right? Would you agree with that?
Yes. Yeah, absolutely. And you know, the I's are going to buy a house based on curb appeal.
Right.
You know, how's it the floor plan? Because they want an open floor plan.
They're looking at
everybody
different
can
things.
all hang out together.
Yeah,
and
they're seeing things. A D is just like, I don't care. Like I don't care about any of this stuff. I just want facts.
the one, the lot size, the square footage size, what the house is selling for. Is it a good deal?
Yeah.
Okay, move on.
I'm curious of the people that are watching so far, would you say that you are a D or you are an I? And I'm curious what you think you are, because what we think we are and what we are sometimes are different things, right?
Yeah, it can be drastically different. Matter of fact, we had one person at a realtor thing that I went to, and their profile, it was unreadable. We couldn't figure out what was wrong. And then when we asked them, they go, "Oh yeah, I had my husband do it or my wife do it." And we're like, "That's why," because they're like, "Well, I wanted their opinion, what they thought I was." So it was like this real wonky. I'm like, I've never seen anything like that.
Interesting.
So you have to do it yourself. And it's like you said, it's only 15, 20 minutes.
Yeah, it's interesting how accurate it is though.
Yeah, it's very accurate.
It's pretty accurate, yeah. Okay, so you have the D, you have the I, now you have the S.
Yeah, so the S stands for steadiness. S's are they can be a little emotional as well. They're very good at team building. They tend to speak a little softer with a slower tone. They need time to socialize with somebody. So they're not going to make a decision right away. They're more like, oh, I need to think about it. So you have to make them part of the conversation. One of the frustrating things about S's is they're very, very shy to give their opinion on something.
Right.
So you have to really work at drawing that opinion out of them, especially if you're in a team environment and you have a D and an I that are.
They don't like conflict.
They don't like conflict at all.
So they just won't say anything.
They'll just sit back and kind of go with the flow.
Right.
Yeah. Okay.
Maybe talk to you on the side, or I can't work here because
maybe they have a great idea and they're like, well, everybody else already said we should do this, and I don't want to disrupt the team, so I'll just keep my idea to myself.
Right.
And so that could be frustrating because they have a lot to contribute as well.
Yeah, absolutely. And so what I've learned with S's is that they're auditory. They talk in auditory tones of like, a D. Imagine a D walks into the office, good morning, and moves on. And then next thing you know, they're like, did you hear how he talked to me? And they're like, well, what? It's like, he said good morning. But it's the way he said good morning.
Yes.
It's his tone.
Yes.
And a D is like, I don't know what I can, like, I just said good morning. Like I didn't,
Yeah.
And I think my dog's coming at you.
I heard that.
He's coming for you.
I'm going to have to go out the window when I leave.
Yeah, he wants a piece of you. So when it comes to S's, who in real estate would be an S in your opinion?
On the real estate side, as far as an S, I don't know, maybe a designer, someone who works with people, that's good working with on a team environment. They have to be a little creative. S's are really good in team environments.
They're good at complimenting.
Very good at complimenting a team, but they kind of go with the flow. So they're not one that, they're not one that's going to come up with, all the ideas. They're going to sit back and kind of watch the team and encourage them. I like to hire S's that are my administrative person.
I was going to say they're kind of good at the cohesiveness of bringing everyone together.
They take care of everybody.
They take care of everyone. So it's like, especially if as the company's getting bigger, normally they are like social workers, nurses, things that they do because they like doing it.
They like doing things for other people.
For other people, yeah.
So in an administrative role, you're constantly,
answering the phone,
taking care of everybody.
Yeah, you're like the mother hen of the office.
Yeah, mother hen of the office. So you need, in my opinion, S works really good in that role because a lot of people depend on them. They're making sure that everybody's doing well and has everything they need.
Right.
So I think that's a good role.
So when you hire, is that what you look for, or when you're hiring that role, is that?
That's one of the things we look at when it comes to the administrative role. I also like someone who has a C in them, so they're a little bit
organized.
Yeah, because with my company, everybody wears a lot of hats.
Right.
So if you're answering phones, you're also doing some filing, and you're helping maybe the loan officer get a package out or something like that. So you're wearing a lot of hats. So you do have to be able to have a little bit of C, a little bit of detail to you.
Okay, so now when let's go to the final one, and then I want to kind of bring this together. The infamous C, and the C is,
C's are the engineers of the world.
They are the engines of, they're the overthinkers. The C is
analysis paralysis.
Compliance people.
Yes, stands for compliance.
They want spreadsheet after spreadsheet. They may read the owner's manual of a car 4 times before they ever buy the car.
Yeah, and like in real estate, they'll actually read the inspection report.
I used to look at pictures like, oh, that's a nice picture. Oh, that picture is good.
Yeah, they'll read it cover to cover. They'll make notes on it.
Yeah.
And highlight it, and so
grammatical errors.
Yes.
That's wrong.
And so C's, I love C's though. C's are very smart.
You have a lot of C's.
I love hiring C's because they're smart. I believe in hiring people that are smarter than me.
Okay. All right.
So the C's are very smart. They're very precise. They're perfectionists.
They're very deep. They think before they speak.
Yes. They don't just come up with something off the top of their head like an I would.
Yeah.
And so the C's are great. They keep you out of trouble because they're number crunchers. Everything is on a spreadsheet. But when you're selling to a C, boy, you better give them all the information they need.
Right.
Everything. They want all the information so they can put it in their spreadsheet and crunch it and so forth. And then they can make a decision after they have
it. And on top of that, one of the things you have to realize when you're talking to a C is when you do an email to a C and you do an email to a D, different emails.
Totally different.
One is bullet pointed, matter of fact, to the point, get to the data with a D. C is very in-depth, very detailed, backed it up with facts.
Yes.
Because C's, what I've learned dealing with C's is if your facts are wrong, it is like
you lose their respect.
You lose everything. They're like, you didn't even write a full sentence.
Yeah, it's not even on your letterhead.
It's not on. Yeah. And I remember
whereas Steve's over here running his whole life on sticky notes.
I got 2 sticky notes actually.
That's his.
That's how I remember everything.
That's his planner.
That's my day planner. Yeah. So I remember the story, and I was wondering if you could tell it about the menu when you were at a restaurant.
Oh yeah. So I have a lot of C.
Yeah.
I mean, I have it's a gift and a curse. I can pick up a typo.
Yeah.
Off of anything. It's like a
Does it
bright
just
light.
your brain? I mean, your brain's just constantly scanning for these, or is
I
it?
don't think about it, but I always find it. But yeah, I was at a restaurant one time, and the guy handed me a menu, and as a business owner, if somebody sees something wrong on my website or anything, I want to know about it.
Right.
So he handed me these menus, and I'm looking at the menu, and I saw this typo. So I'm like, hey, called the guy over, the manager. I said, hey, I don't know if you care or not, and I don't care. I'm just telling you.
I love when people say that. I don't. Doesn't matter to me.
It doesn't.
But I think you should know.
I mean, just in case he wants, I'm like, there's a typo here, and he's like, I've had these same menus for 20 years, and no one's ever pointed that out. And I'm like,
really?
I said, it's a gift and a curse.
Did you get to eat free, or was it double?
No, yeah, I think he charged me double.
Yeah, it's like, all right, smart
I had a
man.
stomachache when I left.
Yeah, I don't doubt that. So the thing that people need to realize about C's when you're working with a C is, again, you have to be very patient. You've got to be able to back up everything with facts. You can't snowball them. You can't talk very quickly and kind of just like an I would. And that's where the I talking to a C does not get along, because the C will go, wait a second, say that again. And an I may be someone who just brushes past stuff, right?
Yes. Yeah, they don't want the detail or anything like that. Matter of fact, I did a presentation to a group of realtors, and there was a husband and wife team there.
Okay.
And when I walked in, the woman who was a C said, are you here to tell us that opposites attract? And I said, well, I don't know. I need to look at your personality assessment. And sure enough, he was an I and she was a C. But he was the guy that was out selling real estate, and she was the one that stayed in the office and did the contracts and did all that sort of stuff. So they're complete polar opposites.
Okay.
And the guy, he was even like in the meeting after about 20 minutes, he's like, I gotta go.
I can't
they don't
sit
like
there.
meetings.
Yeah, I agree.
And she was fascinated with it. She liked the detail part of it. So
yeah,
it's interesting. But yeah, they tend to be polar opposites, but you can still be like, I'm an I and a C, and all my loan officers.
That's gotta be pretty rare. Huh?
It is rare. Yeah. So when I hire loan officers, I try to hire I's and C's because they're outgoing, they can talk to anybody, but they also have, some detail to them, because when you're writing loans up, you're not just selling the loan and then moving on. You've got to give the borrower all the information. You have to issue disclosures. It has to be correct.
Right.
We have to issue their closing costs and estimates. All that has to be correct. And all the loan officers do that themselves. So it's important that we have I's and C's. And so once I started hiring that way on the loan officer side, it's been so much better.
Now, I'm trying to think of what roles, like, there's not many other roles that would take an I and a C.
Yeah, I don't know. I mean, a realtor could still be an I and a C, because if they're doing their own contracts.
Yeah.
If you're writing your contractors, you have to be somewhat detail oriented and dot your I's and cross your T's type of thing.
Okay. So
having a little C, I don't think is ever a bad thing, because it shows detail work.
Yeah, no, I get it. And you're able, and anything that you do, you've got to have that detail. You got to have something. Now, you get people that are the rock star salespeople. And what I've always learned is, I want them selling and closing, which means they're not going to be good at the paperwork in general, right?
Yeah, and so maybe they hire someone who is
exactly. You hire an assistant that's more C, and then they're offsetting them.
They go out, they sell it. And right. Like, okay, here, this guy wants to buy it. Here's the price.
Yeah.
Go to my assistant. They'll write
the contract up. I'm going off to hunt again.
Yeah. I'm going to go sell some more.
Okay, so let's kind of recap here. So we got a D, and that is tell us what it is.
So D stands for dominant. So D's are very direct. They can be a little bit abrasive. They're all about results. They're very pushy. Under pressure, they can not worry about other people's feelings, but they're very effective. Okay. D's are very effective at getting things done. But a D can be a little abrasive and be offensive to some people.
Yeah, because they have no filter a lot of times.
No filter, and they don't. They're very logical.
Right.
So they don't.
They're correct a lot of times. They're like, "What? It's true."
Yeah, I mean,
I said it. It's true. I don't care.
Yeah, but they don't worry about other people's emotions or other people's feelings. So that's our D's. And our I's stands for influence. I's are very upbeat, very positive. great salespeople, very charming. They're the fun people. Everything is fun.
Mhm.
You know, and that's how I am. Like I'm like, I'm not having fun.
Yeah.
I'm like, I need to go. I need to leave.
Yeah, it's time to go.
I mean, that's literally how I am. You
Yeah.
know? And so, but that's why I have a great culture at my office, because
It's a fun culture.
I make it fun.
You drive the culture of it.
Yeah, I'm like, we're not having fun.
And a hard money lending office, you wouldn't think that would be a fun culture. You know what I mean? Yeah, no, you guys do, but you wouldn't think that off the top. You'd be like, that wouldn't be a fun place. But you guys do. You do a great job of that.
Yeah, and but we have to work hard at that. But that comes from me because I'm the leader. You know, I'm like,
Yeah.
hey, I walk around and mess with people all the time in their office and so forth. So, but that's
And you got your little dog.
Yeah, Bachelor,
the little dog. Yeah.
Yes. He's like me. He's an eye. He's a social guy. He goes in. He gets to work. He goes in everybody's office and says,
Does he really?
Yeah.
You need to put a little GoPro on him. A day in the life of Bachelor. And
That
then
would be cool.
you kind of walk around and everyone pet him and you have a little video of it.
Yeah, it would be cool.
I thought of that if you do it.
Okay, I will.
Okay, so you have the I, now you have the S. What is the S?
So the S stands for steadiness. S's are very good team players. They can be very social as well, but they tend to speak a little bit softer. You have to spend time to warm up to an S, but they're very good at taking care of other people. They're always worried about other people more than they worry about themselves.
Okay.
One of the downsides of an S, though, is you have to really work at drawing out their opinions. If they're not going to force their opinion. So if you have an S and a D in a room, the D is not going to even listen to the S, and the S is just
they're going to bulldoze over.
Yeah, and they don't like conflict.
Right.
You know, but S's are very, very genuine, very nice people. You don't have any S in your
None.
And then we have our C's, which stands for compliance. C's are very detail oriented. These are the engineers, the accountants. Very, very precise. Everything is run on a spreadsheet.
Yeah.
I mean, literally.
To the end, maybe 2 or 3 spreadsheets, right?
Yes,
I mean,
with
to the
algorithms.
End. Yeah, exactly. Now, to me, if it didn't have colors, I would not even look at it.
Yeah, you'd like the pop-up.
Oh yeah, man, I want to pop. Like I see a spreadsheet and it's all one color. I'm like, click. I don't want it. But if they put some highlights in there, I'll start looking at it.
Yeah. I like C's because they're so good at those things. And I'm like, you know, when I'm trying to work on something, I'm like, I need this in a spreadsheet. I'll get one of my C's. Hey, put this on your magical spreadsheet so I can look at it in a way that makes sense.
And they'll spend hours
doing
it and tweaking it and making sure, and you'll get exactly what you need.
Yes.
So something I want to touch on that I think a lot of people misunderstand is when you're talking about a sales and marketing person. A lot of people put together sales and marketing and they think sales and marketing is an I. But the reality is sales is an I, but marketing is actually a C because it's data.
Yes.
And so a lot of people that are doing business or getting business, first of all, it's not sales and marketing. It's sales and it's marketing.
Yes.
2 different roles, 2 different people. Someone who's good at marketing with data, looking at client acquisition costs and marketing strategies and all those other boring, life-draining things that you love would drive me crazy.
Yeah.
But, and you're rare because you have both the I and the C.
Yes.
The I is the one who, you know, the way I would say it is the C does the data to make the right person ring the phone. The I is the one who picks up the phone and closes the deal.
Yes.
What other roles would you say in business are pretty much set? Like, you know, accounting we know is a C, right?
Sales is an I.
Sales is an I.
You know, D's and S's can go anywhere, but you know, they can go in all walks of life, I think. But I think for the most part,
But it's going to be harder for like a D. It's going to be hard. Yeah, they're going to struggle.
They could struggle. You know, a D could struggle with being in a big team environment all the time because they're constantly pushing. They'd be rubbing people the wrong ways. You know.
Yeah.
Whereas a C could struggle in a sales position, but not that they couldn't do it.
Right.
It's just, you know, if you're having to change your personality to, you know, for example, I had a realtor. Her husband he's a patent attorney. He's a very high C.
Okay.
Very, very brilliant man. And he would come to my networking events to support his wife. And so I asked him, I said, I see you at my networking events. What do you think about those? He goes, oh, it's exhausting. He's like, I'm there 20 minutes.
He's got to go.
Like, I got to go. He goes, I tell my wife, hey, I'm just going to go. He goes, I got to go home. sit in a dark room,
shower.
He's like, I'm physically exhausted.
Really?
After going to.
And you're like, you're ready to go, man.
I feed off.
Yeah.
Like you do.
Yeah, absolutely.
At a networking event, I'm
like,
bring
it on.
Back to back every night of the week. I could do it. Like, and people always make fun of me because they're like, you're never home. And I'm like, why would I want to be home?
How with my people?
I want to be out in the world talking, and getting to know people. And so C's, they can only do that for a little while, and then they literally get physically exhausted, and vice versa. You and I,
oh my God,
being in a seminar, about,
talking about data and algorithms, and oh my God, that was
exhausting.
Yeah, that would be tough.
It drains my energy.
Yeah, contract compliance, or but it's weird because you're so rare to have that skill set.
I can do both, but I'm much more an I.
Right.
I'm much more an I, so I can do it, but I can only do it for short stints, and then I'm like, I get bored.
Yeah.
I get frustrated with it.
And I think the thing that as we kind of wrap up, I think one of the things people need to realize when they're dealing with DiSC is, number one, you can change. Like you said, I mean, it's true. You can do different tasks. You can do different things. However, you've got to make sure that I think you got to gravitate towards one. I think
you have to go with what comes natural to you.
Yeah, that comes natural.
Because then you're gonna excel at it. And not that you can't do anything in any with any personality assessment, but certain things are gonna come natural to you, and you're gonna find a better fit. What I always tell my kids is, you need to find out what you like and also what you're good at.
Yes.
You may like, Steve, you might want to be a hair model.
I could be a hair model.
But it's just not going to happen.
It's just not going to happen. It's not in the cards.
Yeah.
By choice, though, for the record, I'm just saying I could have dreads.
Oh, okay.
I could have dreads.
Your son does. So.
My son does. Yeah. Yeah.
That's a good sign.
That is. Now let's talk about landlords. I have learned that landlords are a certain type, statistically, from my experience.
Okay.
And from owning a management company, we deal with a lot of landlords. What would you say, and you may know this, what is the most common DiSC of a landlord?
Of a landlord?
Yeah.
Boy, I don't know. I mean, we have all kinds of people that buy properties and build rentals. But I would say, if I had to guess, maybe a C.
It's a C.
Is it?
Yeah. Because it's data. The numbers make sense. The reason it's not a D, the majority, is
they scare off their tenants.
Well, they're like, the rent's late, and they're not going to. There's an eviction process, and they're like, no, get them out today.
Yeah.
Like, well, you can't do that. It could be 90 days. No, get them out now. I want them out of my house.
Yeah.
Rip off the doors, pull them out. That's why they like stocks, because it's
Sure.
liquidity, and they can move the money around as they want. They're not eyes, because they probably wouldn't make it to the closing table, because they'd be talking to everyone the whole way through, and they would never see the long-term goal of it.
Sure.
S's are not good because you know the story. Oh, I was too nice for my resident. They didn't pay for 9 months, and then they left, and I felt so bad for them, but it's okay.
Yeah.
And next
I let them stay another year.
I let them stay another year, and I moved them and all that stuff. So that's why they're not normally S's. They're C's because it's data.
Yes.
That's why a lot of engineers, a lot of accountants.
It's just an investment.
Just an investment.
It's an investment. They have to make logical decisions.
Absolutely.
And anytime you're investing in anything, you need to be more logical than emotional. So
Absolutely.
If you're an emotional investor, boy, you're probably gonna take a beating at some point, right?
Yeah, very true. Very true. Cool. All right, well, everybody, that is the DiSC profile. Apologize about the earlier mess up from him not having the microphone on.
Yeah,
I'm not sure why it wasn't working. These things are supposed to work, but for some reason it wasn't. Oh, that will make it work.
Did you have it on mute?
I don't know what it was doing.
That's nice.
Yeah, but we got it on another one. So anyways.
Okay, good.
All right, everyone. Well, thank you so much for watching. This is Steve Rozenberg, Mynd Property Management, Daryl Dyke, Noble Mortgage here in Houston, Texas, both of us. And thanks for watching, everybody on Instagram as well as Facebook Live. I know Instagram saw it. You guys didn't. And we will catch you guys next week. Talk to you later. Bye-bye.